But we'll start with the Blues as we welcome in the Port Adelaide champion, of course, the game's record holder, Kane Corns. And as we welcome you in tonight, Kane, the Blues had a shocker on the weekend.
They did, Hutchie, and it's been another shocking year for them. Hard to see the improvement in it with where they sit on the ladder currently. I was interested in this from David Teague post-game yesterday.
I don't think it's a big step. I think we're not far off, and our fans may be a bit disappointed because we haven't been able to execute. But for periods of games, we have. So I think our players have belief in it. Our next step has been able to do it for longer. In terms of the distance from there, I think I really believe in this group. I have a lot of belief in this group. I don't think we're a long way off, but right now we're not there. We're not where we want to be, and we want to get better.
I'm just not sure that's the language Carlton fans would want to be hearing. I think his softly trying to be friends with the players approach is rubbing off. These were the scenes after the game. If I was a Carlton fan, I'd be furious at this. Missed an opportunity to play finals, concede the first 5 goals against the wooden spoon side after 7 goals against Sydney last week, and it's filtering through in-game. This is Plowman. He's not the forward. Where's the accountability, the physicality on an opposition young key forward? Nothing there. So the nicely approach from David Teague, I think, is filtering through the group, and they just lack a killer instinct.
Well, there was a bit of that going around between Adelaide and Carlton on the weekend, Kane. This is Brodie Smith on a podcast earlier today, and comments from Matthew Nix that he made to the players after everyone got a bit too friendly before the game with Eddie Betts. Have a listen.
We probably got a bit too friendly before the game in the first warm-up, and Nixie actually mentioned it in our meeting that it was time to put all that aside and focus on getting the job done.
Look, they clearly all love Eddie Betts, but it was quite unusual to see that before a game. And then after the game, I'm sorry, call me old-fashioned, Craig, I found it extraordinary to see 2 Carlton footballers, albeit 2 of his closest mates, carry Bryce Gibbs off the ground.
Yeah, it was weird. I get it. There's a little part of me that thought, I'm not sure about this, to be honest. But yeah, look, it's a hard moment in terms of you just lost a game of footy, but you want to respect someone that's been a great player of the game. I just next time I like to do it after a win.
What do you want them to do though, Cara? Like it might have been pre-planned before the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying I'm not going to arrest anyone. I saw it. I thought it looked really odd. Didn't you think it looked odd?
No, I'd see Bryce Gibbs as a Carlton person. So
but he's got no affinity with the Adelaide Footy Club.
He went there on a pretty big contract and hasn't had a great career, but it's pretty disappointing, isn't it?
It'd be disingenuous cheering him off if you're an Adelaide player, I would think.
A bit like the Carlton players carrying off Mick Martin all those years ago.
They can stand there like all the other clubs would do and clap him off, guard of honour.
But they did that.
This is a player that wanted to leave. Like, if you really got killer instinct and you're disappointed about missing the finals and rebuilding for the 20th straight year, you don't stand there and cheer off a player who wanted to leave your club to chase a premiership only 2 or 3 years prior.
So you're saying that this speaks to the mentality of the Carlton Footy Club? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And even David Teague's comment, I would have just loved for him to say I didn't like it. And I spoke to my players about we won't be doing that again. He is non-committal with that. I think there's a problem with trying to be friends with the playing group. And look, I think he's got terrific attributes. I think he can be an attacking coach, which we're craving for. But at the moment, he is too nice on this playing group, and he lacks the killer instinct of a Clarko, of a Chris Scott, of Chris Fagan that we've seen this year and the best coaches currently.
You were bullish on them earlier in the year, really bullish on the Blues. Have they met your expectations this year?
Hutchie said that they'd get to 7 wins. That was the discussion we had. They've got there, but no, they've got a lot of work to do, the Carlton Footy Club. And where I get probably would be concerned if I was a Carlton supporter is emotionally. They said at the starts, the last 2 weeks, they've played against lesser teams in the Sydney Swans and also the Adelaide Crows. And Sydney, 7 goals, 1-0 goals for. And then on the weekend, they were just monstered by the Adelaide Crows midfield. So David isn't getting them up. And Andrew Russell would have to ask himself, I'm looking at my warm-ups, I'm looking at David's, looking at how he's getting him going. Too many times within games, they just fluctuate in and out, and it just shows their immaturity. I wonder if they've been happy
at the hub. I mean, Andrew Russell hasn't endeared himself to the AFL and the footy fraternity with some of the requests, and it's been a social experiment, and Carlton have pretty much failed, haven't they? I mean, 2 games to make finals, and you go out with a whimper like that.
At least they played with some dare, but they do leave themselves open in that style. Cripps is a fascinating character. Kane's led much of the debate and commentary around his year this year. You think that there's some things he needs to work on?
I just want to show, firstly, the Fremantle. Justin Longmuir's done a great job, but the Fremantle Footy Club, and this is a leading vote getter in Freo's wins this year. So there's
Among the coaches' votes.
Among the coaches' votes. So this is Justin Longmuir voting alongside the opposition coach. So Brayshaw got the most votes in 5, 6, and obviously round 11 with Chera, Ryan 9 and 13, Chera 16. The thing that jumps out at me is there's no Nathan Fyfe on that list. And I reckon Justin Longmuir said, Nathan, we've relied on you far too much to get us wins. You need to take a step back and play a lesser role. And I just want to watch. This was an unbelievable goal, one of the goals of the year from Patrick Cripps. But I feel like Patrick Cripps feels he needs to do it all for Carlton and at times doesn't bring his other teammates into the game.
But there was a handball in there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But then I want to show the next one where this is what he's trying to do, though. To me, he tries to take the whole world on. He might feel that's what... I'm saying give that one there a little bit more to bring other players in and help make other players better. And I think that's where Brayshaw and Chera, in the environment, they were elite juniors, in that environment with Justin Longmuir, they seem to be growing as a team and as a whole team, not individuals.
Is there an issue there, sorry, Carrie, is there an issue, Lordo, with his inability to play another position? So you've mentioned Fyfe and Walters is the other excellent example, but they're both elite forwards. Dangerfield's elite, Petrarca's elite forward, Martin's the same. Is he too one-dimensional, Patrick Cripps, and is that their only option?
It is a fair point, Kane, but why not chain him to the goal square and see if a player wants to stand 15 metres in front?
Matthew, he gives everything. He gives everything.
Yeah, I know, but I think sometimes, Caro, he tries to do too much so.
Just watching that game yesterday and seeing Gibbs have high 20s, it dawned on me, who failed who, Kane? Did Adelaide fail Gibbs or did Gibbs fail Adelaide? Why didn't it work?
I think there's a bit of both, Hutchie. There's responsibility on the player because when he has been given opportunities, he didn't live up to what they got him in for. But I just can't stomach that they're going to write this guy a cheque for $600,000 and let him walk off into the sunset and get no value out of him. Because I watched him yesterday and 27 disposals. He's only 31 years of age. He's durable, doesn't have any injury issues and can play multiple positions. Why couldn't they have somehow got something out of him next year to help mentor this young group coming through? I just can't get my head around they're just going to write him a cheque and say good luck after they've done the same for Betts and Jenkins in recent times.